What if I told you that in the next 40 seconds, someone in America will suffer a stroke? And what if I told you that 8 out of 10 of those strokes could have been prevented with simple changes anyone can make? Starting today, I'm Dr. Chen. And I've spent 25 years watching people's lives change forever in the stroke unit. I've held hands with families receiving devastating news. But I've also celebrated miraculous recoveries. Today, I'm going to share with you the most powerful weapon we have against stroke, and it's not a medication or surgery. It's the choices you make every single day. Let me tell you about Maria. She was 52. A mother of 3. Working 2 jobs to support her family. One Tuesday morning, she was getting ready for work, when suddenly, she couldn't lift her left arm. Her face felt numb. She tried to call for help, but the words wouldn't come out right. Her teenage daughter found her collapsed in the bathroom 20 minutes later. Maria survived. But her life was forever changed. The stroke had damaged the part of her brain that controlled movement and speech. What breaks my heart is that Maria's stroke was completely preventable. Her blood pressure had been creeping up for years. But she was too busy taking care of everyone else to take care of herself. This is why I do what I do. Because behind every stroke statistic is a real person with real dreams. Real families. Real futures that hang in the balance. And because I know that knowledge is power, the power to prevent tragedy before it strikes. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke. That's 795. 000 people every year. But here's what gives me hope according to the American Heart Association. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable. Think about that for a moment. 8 out of 10 strokes don't have to happen. In my quarter century of practicing medicine, I've seen patterns emerge. The patients who fare best aren't necessarily the youngest or the strongest. They're the ones who understand their risk factors and take action before it's too late. They're the ones who make their health a priority, not an afterthought. Today, I want to share with you the 8 most powerful strategies I've learned, strategies that have helped countless patients avoid stroke and live healthier, fuller lives. These aren't complicated medical procedures or expensive treatments. They're simple, practical changes that anyone can implement starting today. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really thought about your brain health? We spend so much time worrying about our appearance, our careers, our relationships. But how often do we consider the organ that makes all of that possible? Your brain is you, your memories, your personality, your ability to love and dream and create. Protecting it should be your #1 priority. The first and most critical step is understanding blood pressure, what I call the silent killer. High blood pressure damages your arteries over time, making them weak and narrow. It's like water flowing through a garden hose at too high a pressure. Eventually, something's going to burst. I remember David, a 45-year-old construction worker, who came to see me after his wife insisted he get checked. He felt fine. He said he could work a full day, play with his kids. Everything seemed normal. But his blood pressure was 180/110, dangerously high. Doc, I feel great, he protested. How can something be wrong if I feel fine? That's the insidious nature of high blood pressure. It's working silently, damaging your arteries day by day, week by week, year by year. You won't feel it happening until it's too late. The good news is that blood pressure is incredibly responsive to lifestyle changes. Within weeks of changing his diet and starting a walking routine, David's blood pressure dropped to a healthy range. Here's what you need to know: your blood pressure should be below 120/80 days. If it's consistently higher than 140/90, you're in the danger zone. But don't panic, knowledge is power. And power means you can take action. The second crucial factor is your diet. And I'm not talking about complicated meal plans or expensive supplements. I'm talking about simple, delicious changes that can transform your health. The Mediterranean diet has been shown in study after study to reduce stroke risk by up to 30%. But what does that actually mean for your daily meals? Think colorful vegetables, fresh fruits, whole grains, fish, nuts, and olive oil. It's not about deprivation, it's about abundance. Abundance of flavors, nutriments, and life-giving foods. I tell my patients to shop the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where the real food lives. Salt is the hidden enemy in our food supply. The average American consumes twice the recommended amount of sodium every day. It's not just the salt shaker on your table, it's hiding in processed foods. Restaurant meals. Even bread and cereal. Your kidneys can only process so much sodium. And when they're overwhelmed, your blood pressure rises. Here's a simple trick I share with patients for 1 week. Read every food label. Look for the sodium content. You'll be shocked at what you find. That innocent-looking can of soup might contain your entire day's worth of sodium. Once you become aware, you can start making better choices. The third pillar of stroke prevention is movement. And I'm not talking about running marathons or spending hours in the gym. I'm talking about the miracle of regular, moderate exercise. Just 30 minutes of brisk walking, 5 days a week, can reduce your stroke risk by 30%. Let me tell you about Eleanor, an 68-year-old retired teacher who came to see me after her first small stroke. She was terrified and convinced her active days were over. I prescribed something radical: dancing. Eleanor had always loved to dance, but had given it up years ago. Within 6 months of joining a ballroom dancing class, her blood pressure was normal. She'd lost 20 pounds. And her confidence was soaring. Exercise is medicine. It strengthens your heart, improves circulation, reduces inflammation, and helps control blood pressure, diabetes, and weight. But here's the secret: it doesn't have to be intense to be effective. Gardening, playing with grandchildren, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It all counts. The fourth critical factor is sleep. Something we've only recently begun to understand in terms of stroke risk. Poor sleep is like a slow poison to your cardiovascular system. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your blood pressure rises, your stress hormones increase, and your body's repair mechanisms can't function properly. I've seen patients whose blood pressure normalized simply by improving their sleep habits. 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Your brain uses sleep time to clear out toxins and repair damage from the day. Without adequate sleep, you're essentially running your engine without maintenance. Sleep apnea is particularly dangerous for stroke risk. When you stop breathing repeatedly during sleep, your oxygen levels drop and your blood pressure spikes. If your partner tells you that you snore loudly or seem to stop breathing during sleep, get evaluated. Treatment can be life-saving. The fifth element is stress management. And this is where I see so many people struggle. Chronic stress is like having your body's alarm system constantly activated. Your blood pressure stays elevated. Your arteries become inflamed. And your risk of blood clots increases. I remember James, a 55-year-old CEO who came to see me after his second minor stroke. He was the picture of success: expensive suit, luxury car, corner office. But he was also working 80-hour weeks, sleeping 4 hours a night, and living on coffee and stress. His body was breaking down under the pressure. Stress management isn't about eliminating stress, that's impossible. It's about changing how you respond to stress. Whether it's meditation, yoga, deep breathing, or simply taking a 5-minute walk. Finding healthy ways to manage stress can literally save your life. The sixth factor is smoking cessation. And I don't care if you've been smoking for 5 years or 50 years. It's never too late to quit. Smoking doubles your stroke risk by damaging your blood vessels and making your blood more likely to clot. But here's the amazing thing: within just 1 year of quitting, your stroke risk drops by 50%. I've helped 78-year-old patient quit smoking successfully. Yes, it's challenging, but the benefits begin immediately. Within 20 minutes of your last cigarette, your heart rate and blood pressure start to normalize. Within 12 hours, your carbon monoxide levels return to normal. Your body wants to heal, you just have to give it the chance. The seventh crucial element is alcohol moderation. This is nuanced because moderate alcohol consumption, 1 drink per day for women, 2 for men, may actually have some protective effects. But heavy drinking dramatically increases stroke risk by raising blood pressure, contributing to irregular heart rhythms, and increasing the risk of bleeding in the brain. I tell patients to think of alcohol like fire, in the right amount. It can be beneficial, but too much can be destructive. If you don't drink, don't start. If you do drink, be honest about how much you're consuming. Many people underestimate their alcohol intake. The eighth and final pillar is regular medical monitoring. This isn't about becoming a hypochondriac. It's about being a smart consumer of your own health. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and irregular heart rhythms often have no symptoms until they cause a stroke. I recommend annual checkups after age 40, with more frequent monitoring if you have risk factors. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels, and heart rhythm should all be checked regularly. Early detection and treatment of these conditions can prevent stroke decades before it might otherwise occur. But here's what I want you to remember: more than anything else, you have more control over your stroke risk than you might think. Yes, you can't change your age, gender, or family history. But you can change how you eat, how much you move, how well you sleep, and how you manage stress. Every day, you make dozens of choices that either increase or decrease your stroke risk. The sandwich you choose for lunch, whether you take the stairs or the elevator, how you respond to a stressful situation, these small decisions add up to big health outcomes. I've seen miracles happen when people decide to take control of their health. I've watched patients reverse diabetes, normalize blood pressure, and transform their lives. The human body has an amazing capacity to heal when given the right tools. Your brain is irreplaceable. Your memories, your personality, your ability to love and think and dream, these are precious beyond measure. Protecting them doesn't require heroic efforts or expensive treatments. It requires daily choices made with intention and knowledge. Start today. Start small. Pick one of these 8 strategies and commit to it for just 1 week. Maybe it's taking a 20-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's preparing one home-cooked meal instead of ordering takeout. Maybe it's checking your blood pressure or scheduling that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Remember Maria, the working mother whose stroke changed everything. 6 months after her stroke, with intensive rehabilitation and lifestyle changes, she was back to work and caring for her family. Her recovery wasn't complete, but it was meaningful. Her story could have been different if she had known then what you know now. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Your family is counting on you. You deserve to live a long, healthy, vibrant life. And you have the power to make that happen. The question isn't whether you can prevent stroke. The question is whether you will take action today. Your brain, your family, and your future will thank you. Now that you understand the 8 powerful strategies to prevent stroke, I want to show you exactly how to put them into action. Because knowing what to do is only half the battle. The real transformation happens when you take that first step. Let me share something that happened just last month. Margaret, a 64-year-old grandmother, came to my office 6 months after watching one of my presentations about stroke prevention. She had tears in her eyes as she told me her story. "Dr. Chen," she said, "6 months ago, I was heading toward the same fate as my mother, who died from a stroke at 67. My blood pressure was sky high. I was 40 pounds overweight. And I felt exhausted all the time. But after hearing you speak, something clicked. I decided I wasn't going to be another statistic." Margaret didn't try to change everything at once. She started with just one thing: a 15-minute walk every morning. That single decision sparked a transformation that amazed even me. Today, her blood pressure is normal. She's lost 35 pounds. And she has more energy than she's had in years. Most importantly, her stroke risk has dropped by over 60%. This is the power of taking action. Margaret's story could be your story. Starting today, let me give you a practical, step-by-step plan that has worked for hundreds of my patients. I call it the 30-Day Brain Protection Challenge. It's designed to be manageable, sustainable, and incredibly effective. Week 1: Foundation Building. Start with blood pressure awareness. If you don't have a home blood pressure monitor, get one this week. They're available at any pharmacy for under $50. And it's the best investment you'll ever make in your health. Check your blood pressure at the same time each morning for 7 days and write down the numbers. Here's what those numbers mean. The top number is your systolic pressure, the force when your heart beats. The bottom number is diastolic, the pressure when your heart rests between beats. Ideally, you want to see numbers below 120/80. If you're consistently above 140/90, call your doctor immediately. While you're monitoring your pressure, make one simple dietary change: eliminate one high-sodium food from your daily routine. Maybe it's the bag of chips you have with lunch, the processed lunch meat in your sandwich, or that late-night bowl of canned soup. Replace it with something fresh: an apple, a handful of nuts, or some baby carrots with hummus. I remember Robert, a 58-year-old accountant, who was skeptical about this approach. Just one change, he asked. How can that make a difference? 6 weeks later, his blood pressure had dropped 15 points just from eliminating his daily frozen dinner and replacing it with a simple salad and grilled chicken. Week 2: Movement becomes medicine. Now it's time to add movement to your routine. But forget everything you think you know about exercise. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. You need 20 minutes of purposeful movement. 5 days this week. Start where you are. If you've been sedentary, begin with a gentle walk around your neighborhood. If you're already somewhat active, add 10 minutes to whatever you're currently doing. The key is consistency, not intensity. I tell my patients to find movement they actually enjoy. Dancing, gardening, playing with pets, walking in a beautiful location. When you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like exercise. It feels like living. During this week, also focus on hydration. Most Americans walk around in a chronic state of mild dehydration, which makes your blood thicker and your heart work harder. Aim for 8 glasses of water daily. If plain water bores you, add slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint. Your kidneys and your cardiovascular system will thank you. Week 3 Sleep and Stress Solutions. This week, we tackle two, often overlooked but crucial factors: sleep quality and stress management. Poor sleep is like poison to your cardiovascular system. And chronic stress keeps your body in a constant state of emergency. Create a sleep sanctuary. Your bedroom should be cool, dark, and quiet. Remove electronic devices at least 1 hour before bedtime. The blue light from phones and tablets disrupts your natural sleep hormones. Instead, try reading, gentle stretching, or listening to calming music. For stress management, I want you to try what I call micro-meditations. 3 times a day. Take just 2 minutes to breathe deeply and slowly. You can do this anywhere. At your desk, in your car, while waiting in line. Deep breathing activates your body's relaxation response and can lower blood pressure immediately. I had a patient named Linda, a high-stress executive, who was convinced she didn't have time for stress management. I challenged her to try the 2-minute breathing exercise every time she felt overwhelmed. Within a month, not only had her stress levels decreased, but her blood pressure had dropped significantly, and she was sleeping better than she had in years. Week 4 Integration and Optimization. By week 4, you're building momentum. Now it's time to fine-tune and integrate everything you've learned. This week, focus on meal planning and preparation. Spend 30 minutes each Sunday planning your meals for the week. This simple step eliminates the daily stress of what should I eat and helps you make healthier choices. Prepare simple, stroke-fighting meals. Think colorful vegetables, lean proteins like fish and chicken, whole grains, and healthy fats from nuts and olive oil. A typical day might include oatmeal with berries for breakfast, a large salad with grilled salmon for lunch, and roasted vegetables with quinoa for dinner. This is also the week to schedule important health appointments if you haven't had them recently. A complete physical, including blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes screening, gives you valuable baseline information and helps identify any issues before they become problems. But here's what I really want you to understand: preventing stroke isn't just about following rules or checking boxes. It's about creating a life you love while protecting the most important organ in your body. Let me tell you about the warning signs that everyone should know. Because recognizing stroke symptoms quickly can mean the difference between full recovery and permanent disability. Remember the acronym FAST-F, face drooping. Ask the person to smile. Does one side of the face droop or feel numb? Is the smile uneven or lopsided? A. Arm weakness. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward? Is there weakness or numbness in one arm? S. Speech difficulty. Ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. Is their speech slurred or strange? Do they have trouble understanding or speaking? Time to call 911. If you observe any of these signs, note the time and call emergency services immediately. I've seen too many families wait, hoping symptoms would improve on their own. Every minute counts during a stroke. Brain cells are dying, and the window for effective treatment is narrow. Don't drive to the hospital yourself, call 911. Paramedics can begin treatment immediately and alert the hospital that a stroke patient is coming. There are also other warning signs to watch for: sudden severe headache with no known cause, sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes, sudden trouble walking, dizziness, or loss of balance and coordination. I remember Sarah, a 45-year-old teacher who experienced sudden double vision and dizziness during her lunch break. Her colleagues wanted to drive her home, thinking she just needed rest. Fortunately, the school nurse recognized the symptoms and called 911. Sarah was having a stroke caused by a blood clot. Because she received treatment within the crucial 3-hour window. She made a complete recovery. Now, let's talk about creating your personal stroke prevention plan. This isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Your plan should be tailored to your specific risk factors, lifestyle, and preferences. Start by assessing your current risk level. Are you over 55? Do you have a family history of stroke? Do you have high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease? Are you a current or former smoker? The more risk factors you have, the more important it becomes to take preventive action. Create what I call your daily non-negotiables, the minimum healthy habits you commit to every single day. No matter how busy or stressed you are. This might be taking your blood pressure medication, eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, walking for 20 minutes, or practicing stress reduction technique. Build in flexibility and forgiveness. Life happens. You'll have days when you can't stick to your plan perfectly. And that's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. What matters is getting back on track the next day. Consider enlisting support. Share your goals with family and friends. Join a walking group. Take a healthy cooking class. Or find an exercise buddy. Social support dramatically increases your chances of long-term success. Track your progress. But focus on how you feel. Not just numbers on a scale or blood pressure readings. Are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy? Are you feeling less stressed? These improvements often happen before the measurable changes. Here's something that might surprise you: preventing stroke often makes people happier. When you eat well, exercise regularly, manage stress, and get good sleep, you're not just reducing disease risk, you're improving your quality of life in every way. I think about Maria, the working mother I told you about earlier. 2 years after her stroke, she told me something profound. Dr. Chen, in some ways, my stroke was a blessing. It forced me to take care of myself for the first time in my adult life. I'm actually healthier and happier now than I was before. That's not to minimize the challenges she faced or suggest that stroke is ever a good thing. But it illustrates how powerful lifestyle changes can be. Not just for prevention, but for overall well-being. Your brain is remarkable. It controls everything that makes you who you are: your thoughts, emotions, memories, and dreams. It allows you to love your family, pursue your passion, and contribute to the world. Protecting it is one of the most important things you can do. The choices you make today will determine your brain health for decades to come. Every healthy meal, every walk, every good night's sleep, every moment of stress relief is an investment in your future self. I want you to imagine yourself 10, 20, or 30 years from now. What do you want to be doing? Do you want to be playing with grandchildren? Traveling to places you've always dreamed of visiting? Pursuing hobbies and interests? Contributing to your community? The lifestyle changes I've shared with you today make all of that more likely. They give you the best chance of living, not just longer, but better, with a sharp mind, a healthy body, and the energy to enjoy all that life has to offer. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Small changes, sustained over time, create remarkable results. The patients I've seen transform their health didn't do it overnight. They did it one day, one choice, one small step at a time. Your journey to better brain health starts now. Not next Monday. Not after the holidays. Not when life gets less busy. Now. Because your brain, your family, and your future are counting on you. Choose one thing from today's discussion and commit to it for the next 7 days. Just one thing. Maybe it's that morning walk. Maybe it's checking your blood pressure. Maybe it's swapping out one processed food for something fresh and healthy. Whatever you choose. Remember that you're not just preventing disease, you're choosing vitality, independence, and the ability to live life on your own terms for years to come. Take action today. Your future self will thank you.